Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. We are live. It is Saturday, the 25th of October. And of course, we are talking about Arsenal today. Gabriel Jesus has come on an interview and said that he is staying till the end of his contract. Apparently, we're going to discuss that. Mikel Arteta has come out with a statement which seems very, very nuts to say the least, but we're gonna definitely talk about it. He promises and says that this season Arsenal are gonna be made the greatest team in the world, which is a very bold statement to say the least. It's a very bold, very nuts statement, and we'll see how that's gonna happen, if it's gonna happen. And well, not gonna lie, I'm kind of confused about this statement because so far, like, if he had some proof about this, okay, cool. But so far he has won nothing. So to take a jump, basically going from challenging, let's just put it that way, to winning, it's a very strong leap, very strong leap. So definitely, it has risen some questions, and I'm definitely gonna talk about it today. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. So yeah, we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna discuss basically everything. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. We are 50 subs away from big 1,000, so hopefully we get there as soon as possible. And leave your thoughts down the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, we can go from there, and we can basically be in the mix. Let's just put it that way. Big up Mubarak, hope you're doing well. Arteta's dream perhaps his only two necessary signs, Guimaraes, Semenyo, Arteta to be the greatest. That might not even be enough, to be honest. Yeah, Gabriel's situation, it is a worry. Let's just put it that way. Big up Hyper Protagonist, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope Saturday is treating you well. Also, Sunderland beating Chelsea, always fun times. Always fun times. Big up Coach, long time no see. I'm better. I was sick quite heavily, but I'm better now, as you can see. So hopefully that continues. Hopefully I'll get better by day and don't get sick at all, to be honest, afterwards. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Hopefully, yeah, growing slowly, steadily, and step by step. So we'll see how that's going to go. Obviously, as we are live, Brentford are playing against Liverpool. We'll see how that's going to happen because lots of riding on this game, to be honest, for both teams. Liverpool haven't won the league for 3 games straight. So will be interesting to see if how that's going to affect things. But we're going to kick things off with this. And that is Gabriel Jesus. We're going to kick things off with Gabriel Jesus. I'm going to be frank with you. And here it is, Gabriel Jesus. Obviously, if you have forgotten or you have missed the memo a tiny bit, Arsenal had an offer for Gabriel Jesus in the summer of 2024 from Palmeiras worth about 45 something like that million. Let's just put it that way. 45 million pounds, something like that. And Arsenal turned it down, right? It could come by. He could come back to bite us in the ass big time. Let's just put it that way, given the situation that he's very injury prone, quite heavily, to be honest, especially under Mikel Arteta. He comes on, he scores a few goals, he hangs around for a few games, and then he disappears. But Gabriel Jesus has revealed that despite mutual interest from despite mutual Palmeiras interest, apparently he wanted to go to Palmeiras as well. He will stay at Arsenal until at least, which is a bit of a rough keyword to say the least, but at least 2027, which doesn't fill me with hope. Let's just put it that way. But every day, Mikel Arteta and the board say that they are eager for my return. I don't see myself outside the club's plans, and I'll be at the club at least until 2027, which is a rough one. I'm not gonna lie, it's a very interesting one because Gabriel Jesus at Arsenal gets £265,000 a week, which is quite a substantial amount of money given that he doesn't play pretty much at all in recent times for Arsenal. It's a big lump of money to basically get as a salary. Wouldn't say no to that. For example, I get that money and don't have to show up for work and I kind of do nothing for, let's just say, 2 years. But at the same time, he actually is very useful for Arsenal because you can see that the quality is there. Is Jesus a number 9? No, he's not. For me, he's more of a winger. Would he be very good at left wing, right wing? Most likely, yes. So in those terms, I kind of see why Arsenal would want him to stay. But I cannot, and I will stand on this hill, with the fact that 265,000 a week for next 2 years still, by the way, it's insane money. For that money, we could get a winger, actually a winger who is available pretty much somewhat consistently and gets paid half of that, if not even less. Let's just put it that way. And obviously, many Arsenal fans are kind of sick and tired of Gabriel Jesus, right? In terms of the fact that he's never available, he's mostly injured, he spends the time in the hospital, and he doesn't play and kick a ball for Arsenal at all. So at the moment, that raises for me one of the biggest questions. Is it worth keeping him till 2027? Or should Arsenal try and sell him in January or next summer? Because during the last summer that just finished pretty much, there were talks that Arsenal are exploring options of selling Gabriel Jesus. Also, during the season, it was late September, there were news that Arsenal are looking at options in selling Gabriel Jesus and basically making him leave, let's just put it that way, in January already. He's scheduled to be back from his injury and everything sometime December, right? So he could be ready for, I would expect, a loan, not actually a sale. Like, that for me is the biggest thing. I don't see anyone buying Gabriel Jesus for any amount of money, to be honest, unless it's like 20 million or something like that in January. Only a loan option. Obviously, Everton are interested. Apparently, West Ham were interested and stuff like that. But ultimately, I actually want him gone. Like, for me, the issue is the injuries. At the end of the day, it all comes down to that. And he is too injury prone. Now, whether Arteta has made him injury prone or is just basically he has hit a very dark line in terms of injuries, yeah, it might not be it, but it might actually be it. Let's just put it that way. But overall, yeah, it's actually kind of nuts if you think about it. It's actually kind of nuts if you think about it. He wants to stay. There are rumors that Arsenal want to sell. And you would expect that the truth is somewhere in between. For me personally, it is a sale. We must sell him because if we talk about the abilities, right? Accountability is pretty much the best ability. Availability is the next best ability. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the ability to be available pretty much to extended period of time, at least for now at Arsenal. You would think that with the squad we have right now, he would not be the main option, which means he could actually come off the bench, maybe start a few odd games here or there, which means that maybe we could try to manage his workload. He would be less injury prone. But then again, even if that sounds on paper great, we cannot kind of forget, which basically all comes back down to money, 265,000 a week for a guy who is basically a backup. That doesn't sit well with me personally. 265 grand a week for a player who is injured most of the time. That doesn't sit well with me either. So unless he's a guaranteed starter, which obviously when he just came in, he was fantastic. I actually was a big fan of Gabriel Jesus at Arsenal. The football we were playing with him as a number 9 was fantastic. Now, obviously, he went to Qatar, got injured, and pretty much, let's be real, he has never recovered properly. He was rushed back, got injured again. He was nursing his injury. He got surgeries. He was getting better. Again, setback. Then he comes back, plays few games, again gets injured, another surgery, pretty much the same knee. And it's always rinse and repeat the same situation, which is actually a bit of an issue, to be honest, for me. It is a massive issue. Marlon, I don't know where he is. Marlon should be here maybe at some point. Question, who is your current favorite player? Pick one player only. My favorite player currently. Favorite player currently. I would have to say, never actually thought of this that in depth, but if I had to push the question, push for the answer, if you push me for the answer, I would put an argument in for Paulo Dybala. Definitely. Isco is still one of my favorite players to this day. I wish we could have gotten him at Arsenal about 6-7 years ago. At the time, people were calling me deluded and dumb, so it is what it is. Overall, But I would say also Lamine Yamal is very nice on the ball, silky smooth, something you don't see at all pretty much these days. If you mean Arsenal specifically right now, I would say Gabriel Magalhaes. I would definitely say Gabriel Magalhaes in those terms. Big up Sheldon. Big up Sheldon. In the club, thought that what they are paying players would become an issue. Then they wouldn't do it. We should make it our issue. Yeah, we should. The thing is, for me, like 265,000 a week, that should be a starter player who is basically one of the main guys, and he at the moment, unfortunately, is none of those. He cannot even get fit, and once he gets fit, I don't see him starting either, unless we start him at the left wing. And then again, he needs consistent game time. He will have to play a lot. Let's not kid ourselves. He will have to play a lot. And we don't know how he will recover because the injuries, the surgeries he has had, it raises more questions than answers. Also, he was on 90 grand at City, and we instantly signed him to 200 plus at Arsenal, which again is a big worry in those terms. So for me personally, it's a sell. I need availability. And we could sign a winger, pay him half of that, what Jesus is getting, and he could be available for the most of the time. Gabriel, for you. I see. I don't know if it's General or Arsenal because I'm not going to lie, it didn't specify. So I'm kind of a bit of a loophole. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Godfrey. Hope you're doing well. I'm good. Big up, Sheldon. Big up. Yeah, Gabriel Jesus is out. He will be on the bench like Zinni until he's out. Most likely. That is the thing. Because for me personally, Jesus as a backup would be fantastic. Because we could manage his minutes. He wouldn't have to play a lot in those times. Let's just put it that way. And everything. It wouldn't be that big of an issue. But at the end of the day, yes, it's not my issue, the money. But if I look from overall perspective, like 265 grand a week for a player who is a backup, also doesn't sit right with me. Let's just put it that way. It genuinely doesn't sit right with me from a financial and managerial point of view. Obviously, the talks about him getting sold in January, I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be a loan, most likely. Next summer, maybe, if he can stay fit, right, and he can prove himself, we can get about 30 million. Luckily, somehow, I will be super excited about that. Because given the fact that 2 summers ago, in summer of 2024, we rejected £45 million bid from Palmeiras for him, that ship has sailed, and I don't see us getting nowhere near that amount of money for him anymore. Nowhere near, unfortunately. Nowhere near, sadly. Max Daumann's best position, I would say the 10. I would say the 10 or right wing. 10 or the right wing. Wanjiri is more of a 10. Daumann is more of a 10/right wing. Because on the wing, he has that burst of pace. He has that first touch and that skill he can get past with one quick motion. I think for Max, it would be most likely right wing. Although he plays quite a bit in the middle as well. I'm not too sure about him playing left wing yet because we haven't seen him much there. So time only will tell. By the way, speaking of Max Daumann, right? There's a talk. He wasn't registered for under 21's game today against Chelsea, right? So there's a possibility we might see him on the bench tomorrow. Will he play or not? That's a completely different story. Gabriel Jesus said he wants to stay until the end of his contract. At least, by the way. It's at least, see? At least until 2027, right? That's the big thing, at least till 2027. Now, if he can stay fit, he can show his worth and he doesn't get injured pretty much at all. Let's just put it that way. Not overall, but he can get injured a tiny bit, but in this time, he doesn't get injured too much. He provides value to the club in terms of goals, assists, the gameplay, and everything. He is one of the catalysts, let's just say, for us winning stuff. Okay, cool. I can swallow the 265,000, but overall, no thanks. No. Exactly the wages, nah. Big up Fusion is not jazz. Big up. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Big up. Just finished playing with my friends. I'm not in shape for this game anymore. Yeah, big up. I totally get it. But nice to playing 5-a-side. It's always nice. Playing 5-a-side is always nice and amazing. Hope you had a great time. But people, question for you all. Would you keep Gabriel Jesus? would you keep Gabriel Jesus or not? Once he comes back from injury, do you want to sell him or do you want him to stay? Because for me, I cannot shake that feeling that we can sign a winger. Yes, it would cost overall like more. Let's just put it that way, but about 20 million overall, I would expect. But we can pay that winger half the money we are paying Jesus. Let's be real, and there's a 90% chance he is not going to be as injury prone as Jesus. Let's just put it that way. No, I see. I don't mind him as a backup. Could be useful as on the left as well to create for Gyökeres. Exactly. For me, Jesus is a number 9. I don't think he's going to play there much. For me, I expect him to be a forward, a winger at the moment. Jesus, for me, overall, has stricken as a winger in general. Yes, he has been played as a number 9 at Arsenal. He used to be a number 9 partially at Man City, but he also played quite a bit on the wing. For me, he is a winger more than anything. And unfortunately, yeah, kind of right wing is taken. Left wing is the only option he has. Let's just put it that way. But as well, if he would want to stay past the 2027, there should be some wage cuts as well. If Jesus reduce his wages, well, depends on his injuries. To be honest, Jesus is good for the resting room. Should take a wage cut to stay. Good business. Like if we can get him on like 130, 140, basically half his wages, which I don't think he will be willing to take. I don't expect that, right? Because nobody likes to get their wages half. Let's just say it as it is. But if he can stay that, maybe if he can prove that he's not too injury prone, maybe, just maybe. I just put it that way. Maybe, just maybe, in those terms. But if you have the chance to sign a serious winger like Yildiz, he's got to go. Yeah, 100%. If we get a chance at Yildiz or someone like that, yeah, Jesus, nice knowing you, brother. Hope best of luck in the remaining your career. At the end of the day, we can also put it that way. That is the biggest thing for us. Left wing is still an issue. It hasn't been fixed, and God knows when it's gonna be fixed because somehow we haven't addressed this situation for a while, and it takes us far too long to address certain situations and certain positions. Why has nobody told me that Brentford is 1-0 up against Liverpool, by the way? Why has nobody told me that Brentford is 1-0 up against Liverpool? Brentford are winning. The scoreline was 14-11, so we can't defend. To be honest, that's nice. Like, for me, 14-11 in five-a-side, great. Yes, 14 or 11 goals conceded. It is what it is, but at the same time, at least you had fun. At least it was a great game. Like, it's better than parking the bus and all this stuff. Like, come on. It's Adingra. For me, for Adingra, kind of his ship has sailed. For me, Adingra's ship has sailed personally. For me, it has to be someone like Yildiz. It has to be someone like maybe Semenyo, someone like that who has proven himself, established himself to some extent. I don't want any prospects. We don't watch the ops focus on. We don't watch the ops focus on you. Wait, what? I don't get it. Wait, 14-5 side. I've never seen double digits in the games I've played. Well, sometimes it gets to that level. Like you can have your 7-5, 6-4s, 8-2s, and all this stuff, but sometimes you get one of those games where it's goals galore. Like genuinely, goals galore. It might have been also a 5-a-side. Maybe it was futsal or something. Who knows? But yeah, 14-11 is quite like insane scoreline. Let's just put it that way. It's like the handball type level scorelines. Let's just say it as it is in those terms without shadow of a doubt. But yeah, people, we need to get to something more important. We need to get to something more important today. And I hope you are ready. I hope you all are ready because Mikel Arteta has been in an interview and it's not going to be a waffle settings. It's just something he said. Here we go. For Mikel Arteta, Arsenal is the greatest club in the world. The important thing is that this season, we make Arsenal the greatest team of all. And the crowd roars in silence at the end of the day. And the crowd roars in silence. Yildiz over the Dinger now, bro. Dinger played at Brighton, now Sunderland. Yildiz unproven. Ah, bloody hell. Well, good luck with that because for me, a Dingra is not it. For me, a Dingra is not it. Personally, I respect that you want a Dingra. I see it. I understand it as well. But for me, Yildiz, Semenyo, without shadow of a doubt, miles ahead of those. Without miles ahead of those. Even Turkish fans who are Arsenal fans as well suggest that Yildiz should be at Arsenal. As long as Mikel Arteta isn't here, but that's a different discussion. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Semenyo, Yildiz, there are quite a few wingers. Adingra, yeah, if he cannot get even into Brighton's side, he needs to be loaned out at the moment. It just shows that he also is not ready. And we don't have time for these wannabe wingers who are going to be good in 65 years and all this stuff. I need winger right now. I need a winger right now. I take Yildiz 100%. Big up Caps. Big up Caps. I would take Yildiz as well. 100% with no questions asked. How much would be Yildiz in this market? How much would be Yildiz in this market? That for me is the next question. Because since it's Italy, it's Juventus, he has still 4 years left on his deal. Well, 3 at the end of the season. He would definitely be about 80, 90 million, wouldn't he? Something like that. He would be insane amount of money. I think over Yildiz, you know. We had new guy who played in QPR Academy, so he destroyed us, but it was fun. Yeah. Like, that's the nuts part. People say that footballers don't have tech, right? The players who play for championship teams and all this stuff, they don't have tech. The thing is, though, for me personally, and that's just my opinion, because I have played as well, and I have watched as well, players who don't get called ballers per se, but they are professional footballers. They are not just as high on the level in the pecking order as other footballers, right? They play in League One, League Two, maybe they play in other, even my national team's players, yeah, they don't quote very high in football ratings, right? But on the ball, you can see why they are heads above, well, the mortals, the regular people, let's just put it that way, right? So it is always fun. They always destroy 100%. 70, you think capped 75 million for Yildiz? You think so? Guys haven't watched Premier League. Adingra is a proper winger. No, for me, no. Big up, Gaffy. Big up. Romano also confirmed today there's serious interest from Premier League for Yildiz. I think we are on one of the clubs. I would expect also Man City to be in for Yildiz. I have seen United be in for Yildiz as well. But Arsenal should be in the mix, especially given that wing for us is genuinely a train wreck. We need to be in for Yildiz. What's your take on Pepe? Absolutely misused at Arsenal, misused by Mikel Arteta. Fans turned on him, including myself to some extent, but he wasn't utilized to his strengths. I'm very happy that he has come back. He has gone to Turkey, now at Villarreal, and he's balling out there. We could do with someone like Pepe at the moment at Arsenal without shadow of a doubt. I would take Pepe over Madueke in a heartbeat. I'm not going to lie. Would take him in a heartbeat. Berta might be able to make it work. Hopefully. Would be nice. Genuinely would be nice. Andrea Berta, please do some magic. Give them Jesus in a swap deal. It's something like that. Give them Jesus in a swap deal and just make it work. But yeah, people. What are we saying about this Mikel Arteta comment? Arsenal is the greatest club in the world. The important thing is that this season, this 25-26 season we are in currently, we're going to make Arsenal the greatest of them all. That basically implies that Arteta he promises winning the league, Champions League, and stuff like that. It's a very bold statement from a manager who pretty much almost hasn't won anything. Let's be real. From a club that hasn't won anything in 6 years, who has never won Champions League, hasn't won Premier League in 23 years, and hasn't won Carabao Cup in 30 plus years, and FA Cup was 6 years ago. Very, very bold statement. Yes, the defense is there. Midfield is decent. Could be better. Let's be real. The attack is, I want to say struggling, but there are some issues. Out of 15 goals we have scored in Premier League this season, only 5 have been from open play, by the way. The rest of the 10 have been from set pieces, which obviously you can look at as a negative to some extent. At the same time, I'm looking this also from positive perspective in terms of the fact that if we click from open play, it should be glory days as soon as we do that. The thing is, though, will we click from open play before the goals from set pieces dry up? Because that also is going to happen at some point. Which is going to come first? Because if we don't click from open play and the set piece goals dry up, it could be struggle town big time. Could be big struggle town. Arteta didn't sign Pepe, but he wasn't aggressive enough without the ball. Yeah, basically he didn't track back as much. He didn't play defensively as much. Pepe as well, he felt like he was one of those players that if he felt like it, he was unstoppable. If he didn't feel like it, well, he couldn't be bothered, obviously. Obviously, Arteta didn't sign him, exactly. Even Emery didn't sign him, to be honest, because Emery wanted Zaha, and the board with Garlic and Tim Lewis and Vinay and all them morons, they got him Pepe, right? So they got him Pepe instead of Zaha, right? So it goes both ways, but he was very misused at Arsenal, in my opinion. City gonna win because they have the best coach. City have the best coach and manager, 100%, the shadow of a doubt. City are lurking. It will be interesting to see how City does tomorrow against Aston Villa. They play Aston Villa tomorrow, right? I'm not tripping over this. Yeah, they play Aston Villa at the same time we do, by the way. They play Villa at the same time as we do. That's the biggest thing, because that game could sway everything. Because if we don't get 3 points, we need at least a draw to stay up top. The nuts part is, though, Sunderland are second in the table at the moment, which is kind of insane if you ask me. We will definitely hold him accountable for that statement. We win me league and especially UCL. Then exactly, that is something definitely we will have to hold him accountable. I'm gonna keep this in bookmarks at the end of the season when he again is gonna say don't sell for anything less than the best. Let's just put it that way. But him suggesting this stuff, it is a bit of an interesting thing. I think we are light. We are light in the midfield. We are light in the midfield, 100%. I believe so. I believe so. Yes, Zubimendi looks like he, on occasion, is getting into himself like he should, like very good. Let's just put it that way. But I think it heavily depends on the opposition we are playing. Because for me, Zubimendi is most vulnerable when we play against high press, very physical teams. And as soon as we play those teams, he tends to disappear, panic, and hospital passes come out, and it kind of hurts us more than anything. And we have seen this before already. I just hope he adjusts to Premier League very quickly. Because overall, he has actually been somewhat decent. He has been very, very decent. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, people, smash the likes and subscribe. 50 away from big 1,000. Versus Palace, do you start Skelly or Calafiori? Calafiori. I put it yesterday in the preview show. I started Calafiori. Eze, Rice, Odegaard, midfield will create enough chances. Eze, Rice, Odegaard. So Eze in the 8. Yeah, but the issue with this is, right, I get what you mean with this, but Rice, Arteta is not playing Rice in the 6. He's not dropping Zubimendi. Eze is going to play in the 10 or left wing. Obviously, before, when Odegaard got just injured, right? In that game when he got injured before the international break, we actually saw the midfield of Odegaard, Eze, and Rice, which was actually quite amazing to be seen because everyone wanted to see that. Odegaard just got injured, unfortunately, in those terms. I still don't believe Odegaard is the answer for us in the number 10. Unfortunately, I still believe so because he's too weak. And he's too slow on the ball in terms of unleashing the final pass, and he plays too safe. But maybe this time off will change it. Maybe. Went for Pepe on a payment plan so cheap. Exactly. Because we could have paid in multiple installments for Pepe. Crystal Palace for Zaha wanted about 60 million up front and then the rest in installments, and Arsenal did not want to pay that. Yeah, Liverpool losing to 1-0 to Brentford. Yep, 30 minutes in and they're still losing. Classic Arsenal. Yep. Bruno Guimaraes and Semenyo at Arsenal would be phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, those two in the midfield of Arsenal would be fantastic. The nuts part is we could have gotten Bruno Guimaraes, and he decided to go to Newcastle, unfortunately. Zubmendi improving, but if Rice gets a long-term injury, we are in trouble. Exactly. That for me is the still biggest worry, because people say, "Oh, we have this depth, everything, and all this stuff. We are unstoppable. Who is stopping us from winning this?" Well, if Rice gets a long-term injury, Merino goes in the eighth, most likely. If Zubimendi gets injured or gets a red card at the same time as Rice is out, most likely Norgard is going to go in the six, unless Arteta puts Skelly in the midfield, which we don't see him start there pretty much at all. Let's be real. We could be in a big troubles if we are looking from that perspective. So there are still, I don't want to say many variables, but quite a bit of variables in terms of what could go wrong for Arsenal with signing all these players and everything. Rice alone 6, that would be nice to see, because Rice for me is a 6. He's getting us to play a position he's not accustomed to. Rice's most successful seasons, even at West Ham, even when they won the Conference League and everything, was when Rice was the 6. And he was spraying the balls and everything, left, right, and center, along diagonals, and it was working. He was connecting defense to attack quite easily. In an 8, he gets asked to do some things which are not his strong suit. Let's just put it that way. He struggles with tight space dribbling and with turning range and all this stuff, decisive passing at times. He can whip in a hell of a cross from set pieces, I'll give him that, and score some of them as well. But overall, in that 8 spot, he's not fully utilized to his maximum potential. Let's just put it that way. Yes, we were starting to cook, then Odegaard got injured. Exactly. Would love to see that midfield again at some point. Rice and Bruno would ball out in that midfield. Exactly. Rice in the 6, Bruno in the 8. Just, mwah. You know, my opinion, Merino, shouldn't have been signed in the first place. For me as well, to be honest. I was calling for Fabian Ruiz to be signed when we were linked with Merino quite heavily and we were talking. There were also reports suggesting that Arsenal are interested in Fabian Ruiz at the same time. And I was just praying that the Merino was smokescreen for Fabian Ruiz. And of course it wasn't, because if it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. And we signed Merino. And since then, pretty much that was all she wrote, to be honest. We still have Norgard. I know. But now imagine, Rice and Zubimendi are not playing, and we have Norgard, Merino midfield. Remember the Villarreal game in preseason of Norgard, Merino midfield? That went really well, really well. Rice needs a progressive 8 next to him. Exactly. He needs that. Rice is getting played as that, and obviously he is not it. He is not it for it whatsoever. Rice needs a Fabregas or Sansi with him. Can you imagine having that type of a player next to him? Oh my goodness gracious, that would be phenomenal. I also, at the time, 45 million euros last summer, Atleti signed Alex Baena, for example, right? I would have loved for Arsenal to sign Alex Baena for Arsenal. I would have been over the moon if we signed him from Villarreal. Unfortunately, we didn't. For me, Alex Baena could have been the closest thing we could have gone to Santi Cazorla, arguably, even. Let's just put it that way. Obviously, there are talk. We could actually try, for example, Rice in the 6 and Skelly in the 8. That would be very fantastic to see. But how many times does Arteta start Skelly in the midfield? He mostly plays left back and he inverts. And people are telling me that Skelly inverting from the left back position, is the same as Skelly starting in the left 8 spot. And no, it's not. It is not at all, given the way we play, the style we play, and the system we play. Oyhan Sunset, have you seen those links? Dude, don't get me excited for no reason. Don't get me started for no reason. Don't get me excited for no reason. Because I would love for Arsenal to sign Oyhan Sunset. Because that guy in the 10, at striker, how he plays for them cumulatively and everything, like, come on, man. That is something different. That is something different. Oyhan Sunset at Arsenal. Can you imagine the scenes? There are so many good Spanish players Arsenal could sign, and unfortunately, we sign none of them. We mostly sign. Well, let's be real. We mostly sign some some drawbacks, to say the least, for me personally, because we could have signed so many better players instead of Merino and everyone else. I would have loved to get Oihan Sunset. 50, how offer he is? He's 25 years old. He would have been amazing. Rice and Skelly in the midfield would be phenomenal. Would be phenomenal, exactly. No, it's not. Wait, I don't get it. What's happening? Big up, Andrew. Big up. Smash the likes and subscribe, people. Exactly. I think I had a nap and at the desk in between Man U Liverpool game. Feel alive? Feels like I'll die by the sword and still willing to finish my passion project too. Barely collected my jewel 15 minutes. At least you had a nap. Nice rest. Arteta just has a phone, just has to phone them and they'll be on their way. Basically, that's what they're telling us. Arteta just needs to pick up the phone and he instantly is going to come. Pause. Like, the thing is, though, if he actually could call to some of those proper Spanish players and they would actually instantly come, would be nice. Like Fabian Ruiz, Oihan Sancet, Alex Baena, and all these men. But he calls up Mikel Merino. Like, hey, I guess it is what it is in those terms. But hey, beggars can't be choosers in that on that point. But yeah, come on, man. Give me a second. I'm checking something again. Yeah, I think interesting. Sanctuary would be. Sanctuary would definitely say yes to us. Sanctuary? What's Sanctuary? I assume that is autocorrect for Sunset. I would assume so. It wasn't a drunk uncle nap, mind you, more like a blackout still willing to go nap. Also, you were drunk. Just admit it, you had a few drinks. No, it's not the same Skelly inverting as Skelly playing the midfield. It's totally different role. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But people try to basically tell me straight up on streams and on Twitter and everything that it is the same. For me, it's not the same. It's completely different things. Skelly inverting from the left back into midfield and him starting in the 8 are two different things. For me, it's two different things because even the style, the system, and everything, it's completely different. But people try to tell me that it's the same. It's not. It definitely is not. Best career advice about thinking moving to a different country. Oh my goodness gracious. Best career advice. Like, career advice depends where you're moving. But overall, like, if I was moving to another country, I would have shit figured out. Where I gonna live, where I gonna work, and everything. Because it's also possible to apply for jobs as you are in the middle of moving. Let's just put it that way. Because I have debated moving to Netherlands, to Denmark, to places like that, right? And I have also looked at some jobs you can do there already. And there are possibilities to basically apply for a job before you move there. You need some guarantees. Let's just put it that way. You need some guarantees already. Either you have quite a few quid saved up, so you can survive and you can pay rent and everything until you find a job. Or you have some friends obviously living there. You can stay with them, so it kind of softens the blow. Let's just put it that way. Or you have everything already figured out. To some extent, you have a plan, you have a system and everything in place. You need to have some of this stuff. And don't be afraid to take risks as well, because sometimes it's very overwhelming moving to a different country. Even when you travel, just in general, it's very overwhelming. The culture, the language, the system, the politics, and everything, the government, everything that goes in that. Just take it step by step. Learn as much as you can about the place, about the country in general, and everything. So you just don't get caught off guard by some very ridiculous rule that could genuinely screw you up. Let's just put it that way. You need to be ready for certain aspects of the specific places. Because if in one place everything is okay, in another place the same thing might not be okay. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Sunset, I know what you mean. I know. Do you think Sunset would say yes to Arsenal? Do you think Sunset would say yes to Arsenal if we actually went for him? Because These players from these Basque regions and everything else usually tend to, well, let's be real, stay where they are for the rest of their careers. And also, Atletico Bilbao is one of those teams that usually have their own players. They pretty much never buy players from outside. They have their own system, their own academy. They take players from there, and somehow they're all ballers half the time. That's the nuts part. That is the nuts part for me personally. Let's just put it that way, because Laporte, for example, came from Atletico Bilbao and went to Man City, and we saw how that went for them. Interesting will be to see what's going to happen with Nico Williams. I wanted, for example, Iñaki Williams, his brother, for about what, 6 years, 5-6 years, and people said I was crazy. But hey, I prefer actually Iñaki Williams over what's its face, Nico Williams. Skelly inverting, Calafiori inverting are also different things. Exactly, I don't see Miles in the position box to box often when he inverts, but Calafiori is like this old Tide commercial. Oh, but the Tide commercials, don't get me started with the Tide commercials. That's a throwback and a half, to say the least. Big up. If you don't use Tide, we are coming for you. The Mendy was quite stubborn before agreeing to leave. You're right. Yeah, he was, but maybe he didn't want to go to Liverpool. That might be another case. Because there are lots of talks that when Edu was talking about Merino, he already was talking at the same time with Olabe and the ownership of Real Sociedad that they're going to come in for Zubimendi next summer. And in January, he was pretty much done, allegedly. Sunset is not Gargol, giving Skelly the role. In which position then do you envision Sunset playing? Because Sunset is number 10. He can play in the 8, but he's more 10 secondary striker. And then again, if I say this out loud, he's a secondary striker and all this stuff, right? Number 10. That, again, to me, kind of spells out the instance that, he actually, Arteta might be changing the style, the system, the 11. Because if that is the case, that would be actually kind of insane. If you ask me, that actually would be kind of insane. Sunset last season was actually fantastic until he got injured. 15 goals and assists in La Liga as well. Not too bad, not too shabby Alonso at all, to say the least. Where we are. What is our best starting 11? Best starting 11. Ryan goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. The left back position, I have to say one of them, but none of them are actually left backs, to say the least. But I'm going to go with Calafiori, Rice in the 6, Skelly in the 8, Eze in the 10, Gyökeres, Saka, and Ranieri on the left. I could see that could be something unique. But if we talk in general right now, it's obviously Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Eze, Martinelli, Gyökeres, Saka. If we look from that point of view, judging by the hype, I think everyone will say yes to Arsenal except Reece James. It feels that way. Judging by the hype and everything that surrounds this club, the only players that would say no to Arsenal are the ones that have retired. Only ones, ironically enough. South Africa, best school in my country. We cooking. Are you teaching there or are you going there? Calafiori has a free role, just runs around creating numerical advantages. Yeah, because Calafiori have the time. He's at right wing, at striker, number 10, right back, 6, 8. He's wherever you want him to be. He's like the wild stallion, galloping across the field and greasing and getting carrots and everything and eating the carrot. By the time he has finished the carrot he has found on the pitch, by the way, he's been caught out defensively and he gets a yellow card. Calafiori is 2 yellows away from 1 match ban, by the way, mind you. He might get a yellow tomorrow as well. I'm kind of already preparing myself for that. But it is what it is in those terms. And if he starts against Burnley, no, if he starts against most likely, even if he starts against Brighton, if I was Calafiori, I would get yellow on purpose, so I just missed the game against Burnley or against Sunderland, so I don't miss games against Spurs and Chelsea and all them, and that are after international break in November. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, defensively, Calafiori is the most suspect. Sunset, you see him as number 8. For me, he's more of a 10 secondary striker. He plays an 8, but he roams between those two roles. Big up Hendon Gunner. Big up Hendon Gunner. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. Hope you're doing well. Latest stream. All good. All good. All good. All good. Hope everything's fine. 100% that Eze will score against us tonight. Cheers from New Zealand. Big up New Zealand. You're in the future. God damn. Good luck with that. Have you seen the score yet? Can you tell me the score line? Maybe I can put a tenner on it and everything. Who knows? You know? But yeah, I expected Nketiah to score against us, ironically enough. Mateta or Eddie Nketiah are going to score maybe tomorrow. Although I said 3-0 Arsenal yesterday, I expect us to win. I expect us to win and keep another clean sheet. For you, it's Zubmendi, Rice, Odegaard. See, you rate Odegaard more than many people, ironically enough. Liverpool losing 1-0 to Brentford, yeah. What pays is Keith Andrews in? 2-0 Brentford. 2-0 Brentford. Sade has scored. Hey, yo, Liverpool might lose 4 games on the bounce, by the way. Liverpool have lost 3 games in a row in Premier League 2-1. They might lose 4. Kinkapie might end up be the safest option at left back. Potentially. 100% potentially. Although I kind of see him come in as a left back, as a center back. As a left-sided center back. I see him that. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe if you haven't. Yeah. Listen to him. I like Reece James too, right back. We have Timber, though. We don't need Reece James. He's also injury-prone, ironically enough. Kinkapie is a beast at center back, though. Yeah, I want him at center back. I want to see him. As I logged my FPL, João Pedro threw another stinker my way. Yeah, good for you. I'm coaching first-team tennis. Big up to you. Big up to you. Meh. It's a very expensive sport, so it's not that big of a deal here. Obviously, we had one big tennis player in men's, and that is Gulbis. If you know, you know. We have 2 in women's, and rest of them are like in 180s to 250 ATP ranked places. Our both women's are in top 100. One of them is in top 15, if I'm not mistaken. And as Gulbis used to be in top 10 as well. But besides that, since it's a very expensive sport, and if you don't have private funding for those, you're kind of in no man's land, at least in my country, in those terms. Let's just put it that way. 2-0 Brentford. Yeah, Schade scored. It's insane. Liverpool are crumbling as well. Liverpool, shame. Bells ringing, shame. Bells ringing. Looks like it's the title races between Arsenal and City now. You would think that. But look at this Premier League table. Look at this Premier League table, by the way. Look at this Premier League table. If it would switch. Here we go. Premier League table at the moment. Arsenal are first, still game in hand, obviously. Sunderland are second. Man City are third, game in hand, of course. Man United are fourth. Yes, you heard it right. Man United are fourth. Bournemouth are fifth. Liverpool, if they lose, they're dropping down. Spurs can overtake them as well. By the way, tomorrow, this table, 9 games in, could be all sorts of messed up. What do you make of Schade? A good squad player to have. Overall, as a good squad player, yes, but I don't think he's Arsenal material, ironically, interestingly enough. I heard the women are nice. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I can fully and completely confirm it. Yes, they are. Look at Man U, you know. Exactly. Look at Man U now. They have won a few games. They're looking great. They're looking great. They're looking great. And local ones. Local ones are always the best. My language means ouch, but I'm going to multiply the national cultures poorly, mind you. Now, all good. Don't worry about that. How is Sunderland second? That still boggles me. This Sunderland thing, it's actually kind of nuts. They are on 17 points, right? 17 points. If we go to last season's table, they already have surpassed Southampton. It took 25 points to go down. They are already 8 points. They're only 8 points missing from staying up based on last year. 8 points only. Only 8 points if we go by last year. If we go year before, again, they already have surpassed Sheffield, that goal difference though, and they are only 9 points behind Luton, and it was 32 to stay up. So they literally have accumulated more than half of the points necessary to stay up already. That's why when I did Premier League predictions, I said that Sunderland for me are the favorites in staying up, and they will be in mid-table somewhere. Kerkez has scored 2-1 right on the stroke of halftime. Liverpool on the comeback. Liverpool on the comeback, people. Liverpool on the comeback. By the way, Hendon, who else just joined? Hendon and everyone else. Look what Mikel Arteta said today. This is what Mikel Arteta said today. Read it carefully and try to be very man. I tell you, son is staying. Captain Jack with experience, exactly. Our Gunners going to be affected by AFCON at all? We don't have any. Ironically enough. Our squad doesn't consist of any AFCON players. Hincapié could go to Libertadores, to Copa America. When is Copa America, by the way? I think it's in summer, isn't it? Copa America is June 21st, so that doesn't affect us. That already was. We have no players from Africa. Literally 0 players from Africa. AFCON is not affecting us one single bit. The comeback is on. Yeah. I heard someone say Ozil not a legend because he never won a major leagues. Can we say the same about Gerrard? They're gonna do that. Definitely, they're gonna do that. Although Mesut Ozil won stuff in his life, to be honest. Mesut Ozil won World Cup. He won the Spanish Cup. He's Spanish champion. He won the German Cup, and he won 4 FA Cups. So he is quite decorated in those terms. 4 FA Cups with Arsenal, Spanish Cup winner with Real Madrid, Spanish Cup winner again with Real Madrid, Spanish champion. He has won stuff with Werder. He won German Cup, World Cup winner in that 2014 and everything. Player of the year in Euros. Like, it's not that bad. Like, if I look at... Wait, let me look at Steven Gerrard. He won Champions League. Come on. Ozil never won Champions League, ironically enough. He won Champions League. He won 2 UEFA Super Cups, 1 UEFA Cup, 3 English League Cups, 2 FA Cups, and 2 Community Silver Plates. Ozil, like, that is some dumb talk. Like, let's just put it that way. More PR nonsense from Arteta. The greatest club in the world have major trophies, for example, Real Madrid. Look at the statement below, by the way. Look at the statement below, Hendon. The important thing is, this season, this 25-26 season, we make Arsenal the greatest team of all. Which basically implies Arteta is saying, this season, we are winning Premier League, Champions League, we are doing the treble, quadruple, we are doing this all. That's what Arteta is saying. Ozil is a baller without shadow of a doubt. Alexis... Yeah, Ozil is just lazy. Yeah, Alexis one of those, like, it's actually... Alexis, what could have been? What could have been in those times? Alexis at Arsenal, wow. Like, it's insane. Kind of wish we had Alexis. Sadly, Arteta will fail again this season. To some extent, most likely. How big extent that's going to be told by the end of the season. To be honest, we played this week. upcoming week against what's its face against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. It already could be done there. On Wednesday, October 29th, we play in Carabao Cup against Brighton. It could be done there. Imagine him in this team now. Yeah. The thing is, though, in Mikel Arteta's system, I'm not so sure Alexis would work. The way Arteta wants to play and everything, it's kind of straight opposite of what Alexis wants to do on the pitch. If you told me, imagine Alexis in the 22-23 season in the Arsenal team when we were playing that expensive attacking football, right? Oh my goodness gracious. Imagine Alexis in that team, prime Alexis in that team. That would be just, to say the least. Arteta said the process is finished. Yeah, he said phases was about something else. Processes are finished. It's done and dusted and all this stuff. Would be nice if he explained this. What exactly was the meaning of the phases then? What exactly was like that in them? Like that would be nice. Yeah, he tracks back like Martinelli attacking-wise. He needs more freedom. He needs to be a bit more selfish. I'm not so sure Arteta wants that. Alexis likes to take risks in the attack. He takes the game by the scruff of its neck, which ironically, our team doesn't have. Our team, I think, one of the biggest themes that is lacking, right, in this team is a player who can do the job on his own, who can take the game by the scruff of its neck and carry us over the line in general as an individual when something is not going our way. That character. We are missing that one big character, at least one. And that is arguably one of the downfalls of Arsenal in the last few seasons, especially in the last 3 seasons when we were 5 points clear, when we finished the league 2 points behind and all this stuff. That's when we lagged this the most. And in Champions League semi-final against PSG, in all those games, we definitely missed that type of a player. That arrogant, cocky, skillful star leader, which we used to have in Alexis. I think that is something we are definitely missing, in my opinion. Martinelli plays like Alexis Campres. Alexis is not what he used to be. Whatever. Good for you if you think that way. Saka is not it as well. Saka is not it as well. He can do it on occasion, but not too consistently. Nobody's underestimating Saka. But to a level, what Alexis did, Saka cannot do it, in my opinion. Overall, at least. But in general, there's no doubt that Saka can actually be quiet for the whole game and then do one moment where it's just a flash of brilliance. He can. Unfortunately, after the injuries, we haven't seen that Saka. We need more of that. That is the biggest thing. And I would love to see some Saka performances like the phenomenal Saka's performances. Because getting GA is great, and that's what basically wins you games. But also you need some performances as well, and I kind of miss that. I can agree with this to a certain extent. I can definitely agree with this statement to a certain extent. Saka got no skills, just a numbers player. The thing with Saka is Saka, in terms of game performance, in terms of genuinely performance, it's not the same. Because if you look at what Saka was in 21, 22, 22, 23 season, when he was gliding between defenders, taking them on and everything, compared to Saka, what is now, it has completely, it's like straight opposite what it feels like sometimes. Sometimes. Don't jump on my words and don't put words in my mouth. Because you're going to do that. I know you're typing this right now, by the way. But he doesn't do that anymore as much. The thing about Saka is, though, he is actually that good that he can actually, despite all that, still get points on the board, which at the end of the day just does very good things for us. He can still get numbers on the board. Saka is the best winger to read defender and gets past him. Wouldn't say he's the best, but he's very good at it. When it matters. Saka is so reserved now. Yeah, he is very reserved, but he is still effective. Exactly. He's very reserved in certain aspects, but he still is very good. That is the thing. He's very effective nonetheless. Just curious, if Jesus leaves, will Gyökeres take his number? Who knows? Genuinely, who knows? This number thing as well, it's kind of insane if you think about it. Maybe, just maybe. That might not know what switch flicked in me, since I feel skeptical for some of these negative predictions from people in chats, not only here. And I swear the Hypno Frog didn't affect me. Well, I said 3-0 Arsenal, we're gonna win. I don't know what you're on about here. I reckon Eze is cruising at the moment. Can't wait for him to get fired up and start running at players. That is the hope. That is the hope that it's gonna happen. Whether that's gonna happen when he plays in the 10, or if once Odegaard comes back, most likely he's gonna go left wing, or he's gonna go in the 8. And if Eze goes in the 8, I think that could be one of the things that could unlock Eze. We need a ball-carrying number 8 that's going forward, right? And Eze kind of fits that to a T. Just like Skelly did in the second goal, which we scored against Atletico Madrid. He took the ball, carried it between 3-4 defenders, passed it to Martinelli first time, finesse around the goalkeeper far corner. I think if Eze plays in that 8 and he can do it with Odegaard in the 10, I think that could unlock quite a bit of Arsenal's attack as well. Mason Greenwood better than Saka. To some extent, yeah, I can see that. What I mean is people go draw or lose game after game. No, I don't do that. Don't talk. There are people who are I know there are people who predict that, but that's more based on the previous evidence. Yes, we are still winning, but we are doing that many times despite our performances. With Gabriel being out, our set pieces will be interesting to see how they live if Gabriel doesn't play, right? Because Gabriel is the focal point on set pieces. So with him out, it will be interesting to see who picks up the slack, right? Also, at some point, the performances need to catch up to the results, or the results need to catch up to performances, one or the other. And just hope that the positive one happens, not the negative one. Let's just put it that way. Saka is strong. There's no argument about that. When Eze plays 10, we should play a double pivot. We should, but we don't. We could do lots of things, but we just don't. It's just like we talked about Glasner yesterday. Yesterday's Glasner's interview, where he said when he signs the players, and where was it? Let me find this. Glasner was talking about this. I don't remember where was it. I need to find it now on top quickly, but I don't know if I can in the spur. Let's just put it that way. Let me check if I can find it about Glasner. I'm just going for this. I want to find this. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. What Glasner said. The system. It must fit the players. The system must fit the players. There's too much discussion about this system. The system is not important. Habits are important. The parents and how you want your players to behave on the pitch, that is much more important. Because obviously, our players, in my opinion, don't fit the system overall in those terms. Not all of the players, but some of the players just don't. The system does not fit the players, in my opinion. But overall, it's not bad at the moment. In my career, I've played every single system. Got promoted in Austria with 4-4-2, then switched to 3-4-3. In Wolfsburg, we reached Champions League with 4-2-3-1. In Frankfurt, he again played 3-4-3, and they won the Europa League, beating Barcelona on the way. I always look at the system that might suit the players we have best. My favorite system is 4-4-2, but do Crystal Palace at the moment have the right players for this? Not per se, to some extent. We are talking much more about our habits than the system. The system is very fluid. And the very fluid system, that is for Arsenal, because we play about 15 formations during game. It's important the players know what we want to do. And this is what decides about being successful or not at the end of the day. That's what Glasner said. If we look from that perspective. Wait. Yeah, 2-1 still. Yeah. Don't just watch Arsenal. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe if you haven't. Saka has gone ultra basic first touch and shot, but hardly takes on the fullback. Saka does take on the fullback when he sees the opportunity. But for Saka, the biggest challenge is, which in my opinion hasn't figured it fully out, is how to take on when he gets double teamed or triple teamed. Because if there's double triple team, it means someone is somewhere open at the end of the day, and many times very close. And he just passes it backwards, and that many times allows the defenders to reset. Let's just put it that way, to cover the bases where there were gaps. And Arsenal play in those terms very passive and very safe. We don't many times, in my opinion, do very risky passes. We play the safe passes. Let's just put it that way. Glasner is a top manager. Yeah, he is, definitely. I can't see us losing points to Palace. I said 3-0. I'm not going to talk further than that. I'm definitely not going to get deep dive into the rest of the stuff, because I'm not going to be the one that's going to say I'm predicting 3-0. I'm very confident, because last time I said we're going to smash them 3-0, I was very confident. I can't see us losing points. We drew that game. I'm not going to specify from last year, but I'm just saying 3-0. But do I see a situation where maybe we can draw a game? Yes, I can. But that chance is like 1% at best, at the moment at least, given the circumstances and the situation we are in. But I'm going 3-0 Arsenal at the end of the day nonetheless. Saka has lost a couple of yards of pace since coming back from his hamstring injury. Yes, he has. He's not the same. 2-0. I see, Caps. I see. You're saying 2-0. For me, it's 3-0. 2-0 would be the classical Arsenal. 2-0, 2-1, and everything. 100%. But yeah, I went 3-0 because I think I hope at least, this is more in the hopes that we're going to carry on the momentum from Atletico Madrid game. And the second half performance, we will see more of that in this game. That at least is my hope. Hence why I went 3-0. If it was classic Arsenal, it would be like 1-0, and then in the end we nick it 2-0, and that would be it. I do them all the time. It's not that always people jump on. I just put it that way. Basically, Saka ends up in positions when he can't do much but track and pivot into central area and cross shoot if he thinks it's appropriate. Yeah, many times he also hits the defender straight on. That is another issue I have. Yes, we don't shoot enough from outside, but there's also a skill in picking a time when to shoot. And many times when he does take those shots and other players do, they hit it straight at the defender. They don't look what's ahead of them. They just look at the ball. That is another thing. But this is the thing. Saka tends to end up in positions where he can't do much, and that is the case. But that again, when we look at it sometimes, Saka actually dribbles himself into those positions as well himself. Arsenal 1-1 Palace, and more probably as Gabriel is out injured. We'll see. Gabriel out is definitely a worry. Has Gabriel trained today? Are there any images or any news from the training of today? There's, of course, Odegaard, Eze, Max Dauman in the training, Calafiori. There is no Saka in the training pictures, though. I will give that much. I haven't seen Saka in the training pictures from yesterday. There is no Saka and no Gabriel from yesterday's training pictures, which is worrying. I'm not going to lie. It is worrying, to say the least. It is worrying. I'm not going to lie. Max Dauman and Salmon could be in the squad. That is the other thing. Saka is a top player, but I just think he's a little predictable. Yes, I will fully agree to that. I'll go 3-1 Gunners just because I'm a Palace optimist. I think this is gonna going into your favor when you suggest this stuff, to be honest. Arsenal have won 5 of their last 6 Premier League matches against Crystal Palace while going unbeaten since August 2022. We haven't lost to them in over 3 years, by the way. 2-0, 4-1, 1-0, 5-0, 5-1, and 2-2 last time we played when we were on this instant situation. We haven't lost to you all since 2022, without shadow of a doubt. And that is the case. Squad good enough, not worried we cooking Palace. Hopefully. 100% hopefully. I'm going 3-0. I'm not toxic and negative. You cannot call me toxic and negative when I go 3-0. As you tend to do. Palace should get cooked. Especially in the last 2 games where they have struggled. They lost to a team from Cyprus, where they put out at least 7-8 players that I expect to start as well tomorrow. We should be winning. them. They're not in the greatest of forms. But then again, if we get the Palace that played against Liverpool at Anfield, we could be in trouble. If we get the Palace we played against during the week, well, we're going to smash them. What do you mean? I get called toxic and negative all the time. People think I'm too pessimistic. I don't know Arsenal. I don't know ball. I should fuck off and go support Spurs and all this stuff. They tell that to me all the time. I am Lee Gunner's Ukrainian cousin, Temu Lee Gunner, wannabe Northside, and all this stuff. I've been called all the names you can imagine. And even in this chat, people call me negative. And I basically take digs at Arteta, at Odegaard, at Martinelli at times on purpose, because I have nothing better to do so. I get judged by my opinions all the time. We don't have any locked up position, to be honest. We can play Trossard as a number 9, Martinelli as the right wing, is the fraud who wants me to. The horseshoe tactics can allow it. Yeah, it can. Is it the best for the players and the team? No, it's not always. That's the other thing. That's the other side of the coin. Let's just put it that way. I just said as it is. Nah, that's a story for a different time. Tomorrow, obviously, I'm gonna go live because Arsenal are playing Crystal Palace, and we're gonna talk about it after the game. We play what time? We play 2 p.m. Game finishes at 4 p.m. I'm going live at 8 p.m. UK time. So I'm gonna go live tomorrow. Have the haters, basically, yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, people, it's been a blast being here. It's been a blast talking to you, chatting with you, discussing with you. I'm gonna end today's stream. Still not fully recovered, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm getting better. I'm much better today than I was yesterday. But for today, I'm gonna be signing off. Hopefully today treats you well. Hopefully tomorrow football is kind to us and Arsenal win. Let's just put it that way. I predict 3-0. I've seen a lot, but for today, you have been fantastic. Big up Hendon, big up Coach, big up Caps, Andrew, big up everyone who has been on the stream. Big up Kev, Crystal Palace fan. Big up to you. Big up Ruben. Big up everyone. You have been fantastic. Have a great evening. Do the clocks change? Yes, they do. This night they're gonna turn 1 hour. Yes, they do. We still have that. But yeah, for today, I'm signing off. So like the stream, subscribe if you're new, and see you all tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time after the Palace game. A bit later after the Palace game. Peace.